What happened to my headshot? What happened to me? Where am I? Uh, I was lost for a second. I don't know what happened to my headshot. I should be here, but I'm not. Well, I'm gonna go with the chat. So, hello, welcome back, my bottle language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the bottle language guy, and welcome to another show of my show. This has my name of the show, right? Let us see. Oh, right. There was a problem here, technical problem. It happens when you're in the road and you don't know what you're doing. As yours truly right now, I'm still learning how to use this thing. Maybe you are listening to better audio than you heard last time. But yes, it's. I think it's working. I think it's working. We are heading for a nice show. Let me fix this. But I don't know why my headshot is not working. Just make sure. I'm gonna make sure that this is working on my side. I don't know why it's not working. Uh, you see, all right, that was the problem. Now I have a machine gun. Okay, now I have a headshot. This is what was happening. That okay. The thing is, I had a camera pointed to like straight to the table, so that everything was black. That's why you saw everything black at some point. So we're back here, and we have a ton of topics. We're going to talk about liberals using babies as shields. I mean that is crazy. We're gonna talk about Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, a couple of things here as well. People are crying, and not precisely the ones that you may think. Maybe I will mention a couple of things about Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. Most likely, I have them right here on my schedule today. And remember that if you want to support my channel, easiest way is to just like and subscribe. It's that easy. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? How did you get this notification? Did you get a notification? If you didn't get it, that is the problem. You just have to subscribe. Make sure to follow as well on X. Remember that I'm pretty much unfiltered. I'm pretty much unfiltered. It can be offensive at times. I'm not gonna apologize for that. Have some anecdotes for you, but first let me organize this. I am using my laptop right now. I have some just small screen space. Some of you were saying, "Oh, I love your new spectacles." Those are not new. That's the same model that you usually that are the orange ones. They're not around here. These are my reading glasses. I'm using them because the laptop is really close to my face, so I need to use my reading glasses, not my computer glasses. If you find me in the wild, you're not going to see me with the glasses yet, but maybe 2026 is the year when I will be using progressive glasses permanently, because, well, I'm at that age, you know. Uh, Los años no pasan en vano, we say in Spanish. Let me see. Where's my Da Vinci screen? So here's my Da Vinci screen. I'm just gonna mention this. We have one meme to mention to get started. Meme in Spanish. I'm gonna translate this for you. The blonde guy says, "I was from the right until I started reading," and the commie says, "And now you're from the left, I guess." And no, I am far right now. Oh yeah, I keep crying, commies. There's nothing like commie-tard tears. There's nothing like commie-tard tears. But it's time to start. We need to get started. 5 minutes in, we need to get started with the topics that brings us today. Breaking: some Minneapolis protesters are showing up with their babies as shields from law enforcement. Okay, I mean, this is going full Hamas. I will advise anybody you never go full Hamas. And people are saying, who could bring a baby to a protest, any sort of protest, even if it's peaceful? Who can bring, who in their right mind? I have seen people bringing babies to protest, but you should not do it. That is always a bad idea. There's so many things that can go wrong. Counter protesters that are Every single thing that you are going to protest, there could be counter protesters. So bringing a baby to that scenario is a very bad idea. I'm going to say that maybe in other countries, but in the United States, no. But again, these are the same people who made abortion popular, so you can't ask much of taking care of the offspring from them. This is nothing that they're not going to process that at all. I'm seeing your comments. I have a space. I have a little space. I have a big space in my heart for your comments, but I have had a little space in my screen for your comments. I'm trying to get this sorted out. And I'm going to highlight one of your comments. You make the... see, Oscar Gonzalez. Okay, Shield Babies, they're a cultist. Oscar, I'm going to using your comment as test to make sure that this still works. It still works. So we can move on. There are no violent riots in Minneapolis like you wanted, says Ilan Omar. Ilan Omar, I still don't know how she hasn't been, I don't know, prosecuted, deported, whatever. The only violence we have seen is from you agents terrorizing people. Our neighbors are showing up with love and protection for one another. Yeah, that's... But the problem is that there's so many videos of them. We have a new video today, by the way, of this protesters, this white liberal women. I have to say this: I am not misogynist, but the problem, this huge problem with white liberal women, and many women are acknowledging this. There are many women are saying that white liberal women are an actual problem in society. This is something that I wish it was different. I wish it was different. Why? Matt in Minneapolis, Border Patrol agents warned two white women in separate SUVs to stop trailing them and not to impede it. Don't make a bad decision today. And well, we could be talking about body language as well, because I want you to tell me what kind of expression you see that she has looking at the ICE officer, because we will be mocking that in a second. Before we're gonna listen to the video, let's watch the video. Let's watch the interaction with captions. Let's see that. Make sure I put it in here. All right, there it goes.
If I continually see you following us, interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being...
Yeah, it's I apologize for the horn. The horn is not mine. It's from the liberals who are protesting ICE, which I really want to get this, understand this. I mean, I don't know if these people understand the extent that Biden's open border policies have hurt the United States. My guess is that they have not understood what is happening. So they see ICE, something that has existed for 100 years. Yeah, this is something not new. People are painting ICE like if Donald Trump made up out of thin air this group of people. No, this is something that has been implemented in the United States for 100 years. This is not new. The media wants to paint it as new, as if this is Trump's Gestapo. No, this is basically legendary levels of old. And of course, if you are a sane person, if you have half a brain, you would understand that a sovereign country needs solid borders, not open borders. These people seem to not understand it, and that's why we see examples as Renee, I forgot her last name, doesn't matter anymore, really, that she prefers to put herself in danger in arrest's way, instead of thinking that I have a 6-year-old at home that I have to take care of and that is what you get. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That is a law of nature. That is a law of life. I did not write it, but I'm always very mindful of reminding you this law of life.
Rest of the day, okay?
I think I'm making exactly
I'm not.
the right decision.
Oh, then why?
Oh, she's making exactly the right decision. What she's doing, making sure that ICE doesn't do their jobs, that is the right decision for her. She is, of course, delusional. These people are delusional, brainwashed. At some extent, maybe to a 40%, I can feel pity for them, but there's still a 60% that could kick in and say, you know, I'm doing a stupid thing. I better should go home. But maybe they don't have anything better to do at home. Have we thought about that? That these people have nothing better to do with their lives than to, I don't know, defend abroadians, to make sure that their hard-earned taxpayer money, if they work at all, don't go to maintaining people who, well, let's say as an aggregate, because I'm not going to say that all of them are a net negative, but it's an aggregate, it's a problem, and the problem has to be solved from somewhere. And if you block the people who are trying to solve the problem, then you are part of the problem as well. It's that simple. It's that simple.
I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing, to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Whoa, bad
Okay,
decisions.
thank
That's
you.
funny coming from you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you. Hold on. Watch out, it's slippery. Watch out.
Yeah, there's a lot of ice around here.
Just so you know, if we continue to have you follow us, okay, have fun. Don't make a bad decision today.
It's not illegal to follow you. What is illegal is stopping people unconstitutionally.
Don't interfere.
I mean, this guy's patience is just amazing. It's really impressive. It's really impressive the way that the patience that these guys have. Mac, Kenzie stuff. These women are obviously living out of fantasy. They all look smitten. I should write an ICE agent smooth book and strike the market while the iron is hot. I mean, you know that I have thought about that. I thought about writing smooth. And this is a huge opportunity. 2026 should be the year of opportunities. We should seize this opportunity. Gonna make a ChatGPT craft this baton, taser, and handcuffs bestseller, Trapped Under Ice. Or what's a Hard as Ice. Could be as well. Oh, that would sell like hotcakes. Leo Villa shared this. An obvious AI generation detained by the sire and checks out. This is something that you would see on Amazon Kindle for $4.99. I only know that because of, you know, I'm a man of culture. But well, yeah, this is absolutely sell like hot pancakes. Half of this country is possessed by demons. I am not being hyperbolic at all. I'm gonna make sure that this fits the screen. Possessed by demons is an understatement. There is a mental health problem with not only women that are absolutely crazy, and at least if they were crazy hot, but they're not even crazy hot. They're just crazy. That is a no-no. That is a lose-lose situation. So I'm gonna play this clip.
Human rights! Fuck Ashley Babbitt, she deserves to die! Tell Nikki, I hope Ashley Babbitt's getting eaten by fucking worms! I hope she's getting eaten by worms! I hope her eyeballs are rotting out of her fucking body!
Yeah, you understand, right? You understand what we're dealing with. And this is not only the United States. I'm going to mention some things about the UK. There, these things happening everywhere. They're not happening in some countries. For example, this does not happen in Venezuela. Why? Because in Venezuela we're quite busy. I'm going to say a couple of things about Venezuela later down this live stream. But this is a problem. This is people with too much time in their hands and not enough responsibilities. This is the issue. This is the issue to having how to address this. Not only time, you have let's say your society is wealthy. Okay, I'm gonna say it. You live in a wealthy society, and a society in which you have access to any single resource that you would ever need. I mean, it would be great if you lived, I don't know, in socialism or in communism for a few months, maybe a few years. I'm pretty sure that so many of these people, so many of these people's lives will be changed for a brave vacation in Venezuela. But Venezuela is on a nice trajectory to be fixed, thanks to Donald Trump. I have said that. Renee Nicole Good. Yeah, that's why I forgot that last name, because that absolutely doesn't fit the person. Was Minneapolis Ice Watch warrior who trained to resist fads before shooting. Read today's cover here. Yeah, I think she was brainwashed into. Again, I want to believe it. I think I'm mostly right. Maybe I'm 90% right. These people are people like Renee Nicole Good. She was not inherently bad. I want to believe that. There are things about like losing custody of two of your kids, and the only reason you still have custody of your younger son is because the father is dead. By the way, those circumstances of that death should be investigated as well. But I really want to give everyone a chance. And even in this case, I would want to know what kind of circumstances led this woman to behave like this. Because that is one thing. We never know. I always mention that I think it was 2004 movie, Crash. Okay, if you haven't watched Crash, go watch Crash. I always advise everyone to make you more compassionate, to understand people. Watch Crash. That movie for me is amazing to understand the behavior of many people. Sometimes you don't know where the behavior comes from, but you at least can imagine that, okay, this person is just not crazy or evil. Maybe there's a problem with them. There's something that we have to consider. Even with all that I mock liberals, even in everything that I say, this death, of course, this death could have been prevented. It was stupid to do what she was doing. I advise you to not do stupid things like the things that she was doing, and especially do not be irresponsible towards your children, which was despicable. That is something that you. It's not like you are, I don't know, the Manchurian Candidate, or somebody just flip a switch and you become a robot. No, you have a prefrontal cortex. You have a thinking machine in your head. You still have the opportunity to say, you know what, I am going to do the right thing, and I'm going to make sure that I don't get myself in harm's way. But sadly, sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes one bad decision leads to another, and you pay the ultimate price. And she paid the ultimate price. Sadly, that's something that happens. Bernadette Landon, Jesus, I know you're a mean person. Last night I created this one. These people are tragic because they are totally brainwashed and the leftists are using them. Behold the new martyrs of the left. patron saints of riots and chaos. This is one thing. This is a bit, I don't know, pathetic in a couple of ways, because Renee is no George Floyd. And in fact, I forgot to screenshot one tweet that I saw of examples that some people were say her name, to remember Renee, to have some kind of tribute to her. And I have to say that it's like black women were offended about how dare you use the say her name for a white woman. Say her name is only for black people. Or say his name, say her name. You know the kind of, I don't know, cult, sect we are dealing with. I mean, this woman is like she gave her life for Somalians, and not even she is gonna be forgotten just because she's a white woman. That is sad. That is sad. If she was a lesbian, she was a woman, but the white card weighs a lot more there. If she had been a lesbian, if she had been a woman and black, boy, it would be, there would be no city that wasn't on fire in the United States right now. But since she was white, even if she was a lesbian, no. This doesn't apply to you. This is nice, but we needed a martyr, maybe, let's say, with some characteristics. And if you think that I'm exaggerating, there's this clip. Leftist woman says she feels wrong for paying her respects to Renee Good because she's a white woman who's privileged. White tears are not helpful.
So I mean, I'm just walking around kind of just dazed-eyed because I was like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It feels kind of wrong being here in some way. I don't know why.
And why do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, like, where that stems from. Like, I mean, part of it is being like a white woman, that I'm privileged and I have a lot of privilege. So I feel like white tears are not always something that's helpful or necessary when black and brown people have been experiencing this for a long time. This isn't new for them, and so I don't know if that makes any sense in that way.
How did you decide that you should be here? Or are you still figuring that out?
Well, I work like 2 miles from here, so driving by, it was like, I'm here. I'm 2 miles.
I mean, I have this reaction because I have pasted this pasted. I forgot how to pronounce pasted this clip, and I hadn't watched the clip, and it's like she actually saying that my tears, white tears, are not needed because black and brown people have suffered so much. These women are sick in the head. And the problem is that it's not only women. We're talking about, of course, men as well. I'm going to be inclusive in this, but we're talking about men that have this huge problem of masculinity, because I can't imagine something more pathetic than a liberal man, a man that it's a libtard right now. I could have understood a Democrat dude 50 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. Okay, that's something understandable. But the level of, let's say, right before Obama, that is the cutoff. Right before Obama, I could have understand a guy voting blue right before Obama, but now, okay, this is you see this, you see all this, and you notice that I'm gonna go back to this. And you understand that the motherhood instinct of women is being hijacked the motherhood instinct of women is being hijacked. For what? I don't know, for Abroadians, for Somalians, you name it. For Venezuelans, we're going to mention a couple of Venezuelans right now. But what is being hijacked in men? Okay, it's not like we have an inherent motherhood thing because we are not mothers, we are fathers, right? But it's not like we are going to become attached to something that doesn't carry our genes. We are, at least most of us are, more pragmatic about that. We don't have that instinct. That as I said, we have the instinct of doing crazy things or crazy stuff. That is another thing. But then there's nothing to hijack. And the extent that this has been hijacked is Representative Melanie Stansbury depicts it very well. You see that she's got the look. She's got the look. The violence against our communities must stop. 2 more shot last night. That's why I will be joining in filing articles of impeachment against Secretary of Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem. Melanie, oh Melanie, how can I tell you this? How can I tell you this, Melanie? The 2 more shots that Melanie is mentioning are non-Americans, are 2 Venezuelans, a man and a woman, involved in drug trafficking, in terrorism, and prostitution. But I thought that context was important, Melanie. For some reason, you left that part out. So she speaks in terms like she's implying that 2 Americans were shot by the government. I am not saying that, let's say, people getting shot that are not Americans, it's something nice or something that should happen. I think that if you're escaping from law enforcement because you did bad things, if you have committed crimes, then you know that you have to pay the price. You know what's coming to you. And it's gonna be something. You have to understand that. You know the implications of that. It's like people crying about those guards that were protecting Maduro. Why would you cry about that? They knew the risks of protecting Maduro. They knew what they were doing. When you assume a job, you should be aware about the risks. Oh, they were innocent. No, we're gonna talk about them in a minute. I'm going to rejoice talking a bit about them in a minute. But we need to add some levity to this. I'm going to play this clip for you so we can laugh a bit, because there's a lot of bad juju in this topic. Again, so much brainwashing. It would be great. The idea behind my shows is at least a fraction of people watch my shows understand, okay, this doesn't make sense. What is going on? This doesn't make sense. What Democrats, what liberals, what libtards are standing for doesn't make sense in the least. But let's watch this.
Attention, retards. I repeat, attention, retards. If you're a Minnesota Democrat snowflake, please move along. We're trying to get rid of all you retards from our small towns and cities. So if you watch CNN, you're definitely retarded, and you need to leave now. Please grab your belongings and join this group of retards leaving the city. We will deport you back to Retardistan, a beautiful place full of specially retarded people like you. Believe me.
That was, I mean, the AI voice cloning is getting just perfect. I try to say, okay, this is obviously AI, but that voice cloning was chef's kiss. I don't know what to say. It was so fun watching that. And when I tell you that we have a crisis of masculinity, and that I cannot understand one man voting blue right now, or a man behaving in, let's say, in ways right now, this is a very good example. Just in, the chief of Portland police is being called on to resign after breaking down crying in favor of Trinidad illegal aliens who got shot. You know, the 2 that Melanie was mentioning. No, 2 were shot yeah, Venezuelan members of the Tren de Aragua gang involved in all this stuff that I was mentioning, yet not a single tear for angel families and U.S. citizens victimized by illegals. So I'm gonna play this because yeah, it's I like to expose people who self-embarrass because I am not embarrassing them; they're embarrassing themselves.
I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community. It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks, because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger.
Okay, I have to clarify that this is actually happening because one day before this, he had said that there was no way to confirm the reports of the Department of Homeland Security that these two shot were part of the Tren de Aragua, and now he had to acknowledge the fact that, all right, spoiler alert, they are part of the Tren de Aragua. So he has to not only eat his words, acknowledge that, yeah, they are criminals, but he somehow feels bad for having to do it. Yeah, you understand that? That's why I told you this is pathetic. This is pathetic. How a police chief behaves like this. And I made a gesture. Okay, this is for you who want to learn Venezuelan. We don't only have words, we have gestures as well. This is the gesture that we do when we want to say that somebody, let's say, you know the difference between, I don't know if I can say that. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. We have the word gay, of course. We have the other, the FAG. Okay, this is more for the second. All right, you know the difference. It's like that South Park episode. One, the difference between a gay and a faggot. Yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference between that. Well, this is for the second. This is the gesture with the, oh, this guy. This guy, no. So if you're in Venezuela or you're around Venezuelans and you see somebody behaving like this, and you think, your Venezuelan friends are going to, oh, one of us. So you know that. So you never learned this from me.
This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday. But it is important that we stay committed to the rule of law, that we stay committed to the facts, that we stay a trustworthy and legitimate police department for all of Portlanders.
I would like to know, what does his wife's boyfriend think of this? That would be an interesting interview, but we don't have that. I have many things for today, but that we don't have that. Authentic resistance versus discounted off-brand Tamil resistance. Yeah, one thing is, what are you standing for? What are these white liberal women standing for? Abrodians? Somalians? I don't know. It's like, why are they doing this? What is their stake on this? And I can understand. I've said many times, okay, you can be an illegal in the United States, but you have two options. I have no qualms on saying this. You enter the United States illegally, and you have to do two things very urgently. One of them is recurring, the other is action that you have to take. The first one is, don't get into trouble. If you see a sign on the road that says stop, guess what? You stop. It's that simple. You see a don't turn on red sign, And guess what? You don't turn right on red. It's that simple. You don't shoplift. You don't um, play music loud. You try to not get uh, pulled over by the police. You try to not do anything stupid. Meanwhile, at the same time, you make sure to join your community, your local community of your brothers and sisters of your nationality, could be Venezuelan, could be from any country, and figure out what is the fastest route to make your situation in the United States regular, or in any country for that matter. I guess that there are many people out to help you. I'm pretty sure that there are many people out to help you. Oh, you were scammed by another guy from your own country? That happens a lot. So bad. That comes with the territory. But at least in the United States, there are many ways to make your, living there regular, to not be an illegal anymore. And if you are, entrepreneurial enough, if you push enough, you will find that way. So that's why I have so many complaints when these people, okay, spend what, 10, 15, 20 years and they are still illegals. Man, you deserve to be deported because you don't have what it takes. You don't have the right stuff. I don't care. I would tell you, I don't care if you have not committed a crime besides just entering the country illegally, because it shows that you have no intent of upgrading, of leveling up yourself, at least aiming to become an American citizen. You should be deported. 20 years, no crimes, and you're still an illegal, deported right now. That's something that should happen. So it is. You have absolutely. You cannot be forgiven for. Where's my right here. You can't be forgiven for that. But we have this liberal women trying to defend the Sabrodians, and we have the Iranian women with an actual resistance against a regime that I want to talk about. Iran. I need to talk about Iran because they are fighting for their freedom right now. And what is happening to our Iranian brothers and sisters is that this is the point of no return. They are being literally massacred right now. This is a bloodbath that is happening in Iran. There's an internet blackout. There is an electricity blackout. There's all sorts of blackouts so the world doesn't know. And there's this silence from every mainstream and legacy media. They don't want to talk about this because you know that anything that has to do with Islamic extremism, no, you cannot touch that. You can't touch any of that. You cannot touch, no. That is Islamophobic. You know, that made up word that doesn't make sense, but they're going to tell you that. Oh, no, you cannot touch that. No, nobody's mentioned this. And no feminist is talking about Iranian women. Greta Thunberg, silence. Angelina Jolie, silence. No word from her. Megan is not talking. You know that Megan has other troubles right now. It's poor Megan. But yeah, no feminists speaking on behalf of Iranian women right now. And it's like they don't care. Oh no, because it goes against the narrative. You know, the communists and liberals and libtards are aligned with the Islamic extremist part. And if this group of people are trying to let's say escape from this. Oh yeah, I forgot this. Thank you, JE. Thanks for this. The woman with the cigarette, who got very famous, is not in Iran. She is in Toronto. Thank you for mentioning that, JE. I had forgotten that. Yeah, that is true. Still, there are women who are doing that inside of Iran. But it's like people criticizing me for being a Venezuelan in Europe, talking about Venezuela and how Venezuela has to be liberated. I'm still Venezuelan. Venezuela is still my homeland. That doesn't take away the fact that I can talk and I want Venezuela to be free still. And well, even in my case, because yeah, people have been targeted outside of Venezuela for speaking against the Maduro regime. Maduro regime no more, and pretty soon no more any sort of regime, thanks to Donald Trump. Dr. Malouf, we are witnessing one of the biggest feminist revolutions in history, and for some reason, Western feminists are completely silent. But that reinforces my point. The fact that this woman is in Toronto, that reinforces my point, in fact, because, yeah, what is the problem? What is the problem with all these celebrities that could be bringing attention to this, and they don't? And they live in first world countries. I don't know. J.K. Rowling, if you claim to support human rights yet can't bring yourself to show solidarity with those fighting for their liberty in Iran, you have revealed yourself. You don't give a damn about people being oppressed and brutalized so long as if being done by the enemies of your enemies. Yes, this is the thing. A lot of ignorant Westerners are going to be shocked at what kind of society emerges in Iran after the fall of the Islamic Republic. It will be the world's most secular country, extremely progress-oriented, cosmopolitan, with women more empowered and educated than in the West. We're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to that. It's amazing. This is in Spanish. I'm going to translate it for you. Amazing that this is happening in Washington. So it happens that this is a protest of Iranians supporting the revolt against the Muslim regime. But a group of liberal white women, all right, arrived to insult Iranians because how dare you be against the regime? I am not joking. I wish I was joking.
Iranian people peacefully having a protest.
Again, we have a huge problem with white liberal women and the men who don't stop them.
And these Antifa Democrats just tend to show up and turn up anti-ICE.
Yeah, this is a lot of noise. This is a lot of crazy stuff. I'm gonna tell you something about how the world is getting crazier every day. You know that I have been studying a bit about the Middle East. I've been something that like 7 years ago I had no idea about any sort of history or on the conflict of the Middle East. But 7 years ago, I began, let's say, being a bit more interested because I didn't want to be that ignorant. And as of late, I said, well, I'm going to, let's say, as a hobby right now, dedicate myself to study more about the Middle East. I found it interesting, and especially all the relations that the United States has with the Middle East. And I'm going to talk about the UAE right now. Breaking. The UAE, the United Arab Emirates, remember that the Emirates is this country in which Dubai and Abu Dhabi are Emirates, part of the country. Okay? So many people believe that Dubai is a country. No, Dubai is not a country. Dubai is an emirate, as well as Abu Dhabi is an emirate, and they're part of the seven Emirates of United Arab Emirates. So the UAE announces it will cut funds for citizens who want to study in the UK out of fear of Emirati students being radicalized by Muslim Brotherhood Islamists on British campuses. Because you know that these countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE have banned organizations like the Muslim Brotherhood for being extremists. So now I would like to know, I would really like to know, I'd like to know what Starmer thinks about this. It's Keir Starmer going to call the UAE an Arab Muslim country Islamophobic? Because it is not only the UK, it's not English, it's Ireland as well. So this is unprecedented. UAE limiting students coming to UK over Muslim Brotherhood concerns. Federal funding in the country is being restricted for citizens who hope to study in Britain because of alleged influence from the Islamist group. And yes, I think I have played that video at some point in which one guy from the UAE says there will be a point in which there will be more Islamic extremists in the Western world than in the Middle East. And I think that we are arriving to that point. We're arriving to that point, and well, we still know that the UK, in terms of getting their act together, is not going well. I think this video is old, but there was a resurface. I'm going to mention it anyway. Britain is a police state. A British man was arrested at 4 a.m. in front of his cancer-stricken wife for saying he dislikes seeing Palestinian flags everywhere on social media. I'm pretty sure that this is it was like 2 years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it still proves my point because this has not changed. You can't even say something, have an opinion on social media because you're immediately Islamophobic. Just like an I don't like the flags, you get arrested. That is happening in the UK. So I think the being radical is not only comes from being Islamic radical, but also a UK police radical. Something like that. It's something that's going to happen. Kiera is arrested for swearing in public. I saw this recently. I think it was yesterday. While we have gangs of illegal migrants prowling our city centers every weekend, abusing women and assaulting men, the police are focusing their attention on more serious matters. A Brit in a suit with a briefcase who was swearing. He was swearing. I think the swearing was towards the same matter, but you are arrested. He was arrested. What is going on with the UK? I told you that I was not going to mention topics, but I need to talk more about the UK for two reasons. One, I want my lovely body language buddies from the UK to know that I have not forgotten about you. I'm still concerned about you, but I don't see an exit fast enough for what is going on in the UK. There should be, but I don't see it. And waiting for elections, for general elections, seems way too far away. The second one is, sadly, the UK has become an example for the rest of the world. The insanity of what is going on in the UK has become an example for the rest of the world. And I need to use the UK as an example, the same way that I've used Venezuela as an example for do not mess up with socialism, something that New Yorkers, I guess, that they wanted to mess up with socialism. They want to F around with socialism. They are about to find out. But everything can be used to learn. Everything can be used to, let's figure things out. And I hope that the UK not only is fixed and before the general elections, although I don't know how can that work out, but this is what is happening. This is what is happening, and it should not be happening. And I am afraid in ways as the same way I'm afraid of Germany, for example. This is some kind of guilt that all these countries have after World War II. As in, we feel guilty about, who knows what. I can understand the guilt that has been imbued, infected in Germans, guilty in many ways. I can understand about Germany, but why the UK? Why the UK is gonna feel guilty about anything? We need to one, welcome the whole world. Two, favor the Abroadians over our citizens. That doesn't make sense. That would never make sense. That is insanity. That is the definition of insanity. They should not, simply should not be happening. Let's talk about Venezuela a bit. This one's is gonna be quick, but we have a joke about Venezuela. We can, that's something that we Venezuelans use for this quarter of a century. We can make a joke about literally everything. Okay, that can be a blessing, that can be a curse. The blessing is that helps you go through very tough times. The curse is that helps us go through very tough times, and sometimes we need more action. But we are way past that point of action. When we realize, okay, we are being effed, that was the point of no return, especially when private gun ownership was banned in Venezuela. But let's see this. Venezuelan journalist reports that Venezuelan acting President Delcy Rodriguez will travel to Washington on Tuesday to meet with Trump and U.S. oil executives. That is interesting. We already knew that Trump had a meeting with oil executives and they sent a very simple message. Okay, it's nice that you took Maduro out of the equation, but we need, guess what? The same securities and guarantees that you should give for, an actual transition. We need that guarantees and security and everything for our executives, our people, our workers. It's not like we're going to invest money, we're going to invest in infrastructure, we're going to invest in people, and then there's going to be this regime that has not been, let's say, removed yet, is going to take it all away, as they have done in the past. Nobody's going to invest in Venezuela that way. And Donald Trump told them, okay, I'm going to deal with that. I'm going to deal with the security and guarantees part. And I'm pretty sure that that's one of the reasons that Delcy Rodriguez is traveling to Washington to, let's say, give those guarantees. We still have the question, what's going to happen with this guy, with Diosdado Cabello, which is the more radical, which is the problem. And we have a $25 million. I think this is dead or alive. Information leading to the arrest and or conviction of Diosdado Cabello Rondon. This is the problem. This guy is the problem. Trump has said many times that the second round of warfare is not going to happen. I'm going to describe that warfare in a minute. But Trump has said that so many times in the past 72 hours that it seems like he's using reverse. I want to believe that he's used reverse psychology to that he's going to hit and hit very hard. And by the way, he has said that Venezuela is releasing large numbers of political prisoners as a sign of seeking peace, which is not true. There are around 800 to 900 political prisoners in Venezuela, which by the way, I want to address that we have our own share of deranged liberals in Latin America and in Spain. Because 1 week ago, these libtards, especially, I think that I would say that the worst Spanish-speaking libtards are in Spain. Those are the worst of the worst. Those were 1 week ago that there are no political prisoners in Venezuela. That was their statement. Venezuela has no political prisoners. This shouldn't be happening. And what are they saying right now, from 12 hours to this moment? They're saying that former president of Spain, Zapatero, was helping secure and release Venezuela's political prisoners. Hey, wait a second. Which one of those is that? You say that Venezuela had no political prisoners, and now you're saying that Zapatero is one of the that helped release Venezuela's political prisoners, not Trump, because they don't want Trump to take the win, right? You understand? You understand that there's no way to argue with these people. They make up stuff on the spot and they contradict themselves. How can you argue with people who can speak so much nonsense? You can't. It's not possible. I have tried. And you ask them about, okay, how can you reconcile what you said last week with what you're saying now? And then they should ad hominem attacks. I saw that this streamer, Asmon Gold, is a very famous streamer. Maybe you have heard about him. He was having a strong stance about justifying the ICE officer shooting Rene Good. So one guy had the explanation of the video and analyzing the video, had all the proof that there had to have a very solid case, as I exposed my case as well. And there was one comment, and it's okay. This is the room, as Mongol has a very dirty and it's a mess of a room where he streams for. It's filthy, it's untidy, it's a mess. This is the room where this guy with this opinion streams. I mean, what is the difference? What is the difference? If his argument is solid, what is the difference if he is living in a dumpster, if he is living in a palace, if he is living in a hotel room, if he is living in his mother's basement, he has his own house? What is the difference? What is important is the argument. Then these libtards have no counter argument to this. So they resort to ad hominem attacks. Let's attack the person. That's something that we have to deal with day in, day out. So no, Venezuela is not releasing large numbers of political prisoners. Have released only around 10 of the 800. And you might ask, even if they have the gun to the head, why hasn't Venezuela released the political prisoners? I'm gonna answer that. And it's because that so many of them are in such a bad shape because all the torturing that they can't be released the way they are right now. They can't even be moved out of the El Helicoide just because of the state they're in. And so many of those political prisoners that should be at El Helicoide and in other prisons are dead, are already dead. And of course, the Venezuelan government doesn't want to acknowledge that. And once they acknowledge that, all hell is gonna break loose. So they want to delay that as much as possible. I told you, they disappear you. Your family will not know what happened to you. Your family might take a guess that you're being held at El Helicoide if you were taken by the SEBIN, for example. The SEBIN that is controlled by Diosdado Cabello. But if your family doesn't hear anything else from you, you're either dead or alive. They can't possibly know. You could be dead. And maybe can't you imagine how, I don't know, a mother or a father can feel? Okay, my son, my daughter is finally going to be liberated. I'm going to know about what happened to my son. I'm going to know what happened to my daughter. And you find out your son or your daughter died, I don't know, maybe weeks ago or months ago, maybe years ago, and you simply didn't know. That is what is happening in Venezuela. And that's why I'm glad of everything that is happening to these mofos, every single one of them. I'm happy that very slowly they're going to pay. I'm going to tell you that every time I see Diosdado Cabello trending on Twitter. I'm just waiting for one. I click on the link. Diosdado Cabello is trending. I click on the link, waiting for just one outcome, waiting from just one news. And you know what I'm waiting for. I'm not going to say it. You know what I'm waiting for. But again, they're expecting, they want them to, I think that they're expecting I think that they think that Donald Trump is kind of bluffing. It is obvious that he was not bluffing when he managed to kidnap Maduro in 3 minutes in the most secure bunker in all the country. So Caroline Leavitt posted this. Stop what you're doing and read this. This was a video posted by a guy in Venezuela. Again, take this with a grain of salt, because I have a lot of doubts that anybody involved in military, really involved in military, would record this. But at the same time, he's not revealing anything because they have nothing to reveal. We already know that at least 55 Cuban operators were killed in that attack. So he's not revealing anything out of the ordinary. I'm gonna paraphrase this, but he's describing the attack. This account from a Venezuelan security guard loyal to Nicolas Maduro is absolutely chilling, and it explains a lot why the tone about Latin America suddenly changed. On the day of the operation, we didn't hear anything coming. We were on guard, but suddenly all of radar systems shut down without any explanation. We know how that works. The United States has F-18 planes who can not only, have reconnaissance, but I know that they have planes, maybe not the F-18s, have planes that can jam radar communications. That's something, that's technology that exists. We were on guard, okay. The next thing we saw were drones, a lot of drones flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react. These are special drones that act like eyes and form this three-dimensional map of the whole battlefield. Okay, they fly without any sort of light. They have this scanners, this night vision, and they form this three-dimensional map of the battlefield. We know this exists because this is technology that has been slowly revealed. Maybe it is obvious that the United States should have even better technology than this, but this is what we know how this works. So what happened next? After those drones appeared, some helicopters arrived, but there were very few. I think barely 8 helicopters. From those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number, maybe 20 men. Just 20 men did this job. That's already confirmed as well. But those men were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we had fought against before. And then the battle began, yes, but it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed. It's like people are joking. They were using aimbots, what you use in video games, to just snap your gun to people behind walls. And yes, they have, it's part of the drones. Okay, the drones deployed is part of the how can you see behind the walls to shoot people behind walls. And each soldier was firing like 300 rounds per minute. We couldn't do anything. This was brutal. And their own weapons, didn't they help? Not help at all, because it wasn't just the weapons. At one point, they launched something, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. It suddenly felt like my head was exploding from the inside. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. We know that, like, I don't know, 30 years ago, we already had these prototypes of non-lethal weapons, anti-rioting non-lethal weapons. And one of them was this sound blast that basically just, completely, it is a sound blast. Okay, I think it causes dizziness, pain. Maybe if you're near enough, you can rupture your eardrums. That is a thing. That was a thing 30 years ago. Now imagine what can they develop right now. And I remember that there's even a way that you can point a sound at a specific place. If you can play with frequencies, so you can put a sound in a perfect spot. That's also technology that we have known for 40 years or so, maybe 50 years, maybe more. You use several frequencies that cancel each other in such a way that only a line just in the middle goes through. So what if you can use that with a sound that can cause this, that can cause a complete and absolute breakdown in organisms? Sounds plausible. Sounds absolutely plausible. If we're talking about technology about 50 years ago, what can you do in 50 years? All right. We couldn't even stand up after that sonic weapon or whatever it was. Sounds a lot like an anti-riot weapon of 30 years ago. So do you think the rest of the region should think twice before confronting the Americans? Without a doubt, I'm sending a warning to anyone who thinks they can fight the United States. They have no idea what they're capable of. After what I saw, I never want to be on the other side of that again. They're not to be messed with. Yeah, that's what happened, and I'm gonna play this this video because this is important. I want to share you part of my experience as well that I still feel to this day. 10 years, I'm like in the smack in the middle. After I left Venezuela, I'm gonna share with you something that I still feel to this day. I play this this clip of the survivor of the Maduro regime should be required viewing for every American, and it should be played on every news station in America before anyone forms an opinion about the Venezuela op.
An American that hasn't lived the terror of socialism will never understand what is going on right now. I don't care if you have a master's degree in whatever, unless you live it in your own skin, you won't ever understand it. And I think it's terribly disrespectful for anybody to tell Venezuela how we should react to that. I think it's terribly disrespectful to the people that have died, saying that Maduro shouldn't be where he is. And I left my country with just the clothes I was wearing and a little bit of diapers and milk that I had left. Don't you dare telling me that this is not a reason for celebration. When I first come into the United States, I cried and had to turn around to my husband and ask him to please help me to open the shower because I didn't even know how to open the shower. When I walked into Walmart and I saw so many options to eat, I couldn't believe myself. Our reality is different. We want to live. And you guys have everything in this country, more than you could ever imagine. And I just wish that you could love it a little bit more and respect it a little bit more. Because if I had to give my life for America, I would.
This is not an exaggeration. You might say, how long have you been in the United States? Have you I don't know, are you taking things for granted? Have you don't? You still have that reaction to when you go to and you see all the things in the world? I'm gonna tell you one thing. Yes, it was a shock. It was a shock when you leave Venezuela. And I had traveled a lot to the United States before leaving Venezuela. So again, I remember two of my favorite places: Publix, Whole Foods. That's something that I just can't get enough of. It was amazing having so many amazing products in such a amazing amount. You could find them in Venezuela, but in very, very tiny spots. Okay, I'm not gonna say that you couldn't find them, but if you went to a supermarket in Venezuela, it was, let's say, a different experience. And most of the time, you have to be in a WhatsApp group that told you that okay, there's a powdered milk arriving at the market. I remember that I lived next to this very small mall by United States Matrix. It was a small mall, had a supermarket, and we had the WhatsApp group of somebody who said, "Okay, we know that powdered milk arrived." Powdered milk was I don't know. I felt like I was I don't know in the Middle Ages or something, because I had to stop doing whatever I was doing and run to be able to buy powdered milk. And why was powdered milk so important? Because something that you could store for when, things like milk did not appear for weeks or even months. You have to run. How many bags of powdered milk? You can take 2. All right. What did I do? I bought 2 bags of powdered milk. I went, say that I had to go with my car. This was next to my house, but I went with my car. I entered the parking lot. I went to my car. I deposited the 2 powdered milk bags, and I went to the supermarket again to buy 2 more bags, and I did like 5 times, and I got to get 10 powder bags. Everybody was doing that. We were desperate. But there's another thing. That hasn't changed in me. I still feel like this is something that I will never, a sensation that almost 10 years after the fact, I still feel. And it's hot water. Being able to take a shower with hot water. When I left Venezuela, I simply don't remember the last time I was able to take a proper hot shower for many reasons. I'm not going to elaborate on that. But one of them, it's not like I didn't have the means to install a water heater. No, the problem is you need 2 things for hot water. You need a water heater, of course. It's something that it's natural, right? It's the only way to heat water. But what is the other thing that you need for hot water besides the water heater? Let's see if you can guess. What else do you need for hot water besides the water heater? Let's see if anyone, you have the water heater. What else do you need? I'm pretty sure that you can guess this. It's very easy. It's a very easy question. What do you need? Let's see who comments that first. I'm going to highlight the first comment. Say, what do you need? And it's something that still feels to this day. Every time I open, oh yes, SSJB, you need water. Yes, imagine that. You need water. You could have the water heater, but yes, bitch girl, Jax, you need water. You could have the best heater in the world. You don't have water. You have to heat the water in the kitchen. And you have to essentially, I remember that I lived in a 5th floor, and again, because of reasons, most of the time the lift was not working. And sometimes let's say I was really fit. The silver lining, I was very fit back then because I had to carry a ton of water, both the drinkable and the not drinkable. And at the end of the day, I was so tired because of everything, not to mention the electricity, which we were ration, that is a word, electricity a lot. We had special days of rationing at 8 hours without electricity. Sometimes it was at night, and it was not fun at all. And sometimes we did not have lifts. So most of the time, we're talking about 11 p.m. I was exhausted for everything. There was no internet. There was no electricity. There was a problem with the water. You have to run and buy the goddamn powdered milk at the market. You have to go with your car and make sure that we did not have issues with gas back then. It happened after we left. But I was so tired at 11 p.m. when I was going to take a shower. A shower was a bucket of water. Okay, I had to heat my water. I am not going to heat the water. I'm not going to wait for to heat the water in the kitchen. I want to take a shower right now, and I took the shower right now with the cold water. You can say, "Oh, you're complaining, Jesus, about the cold water." Not gonna complain because at least I had water in my apartment. But for the longest time, I don't know. For the longest time, I really did not know what showering with hot water was. When I traveled to the United States and I opened the shower, and you had that scorching hot water coming out, it was like, okay, this bliss, this absolute bliss. And when I finally left Venezuela and I got used to internet working all the time, that was a big for me because all my work has been basically online from the longest time. Electricity working all the time. Yeah, I think in 10 years, I have experienced 2 blackouts that lasted 3 hours, something like that. Something that in 10 years. And the hot water. So you may think that this is such a small thing, showering with hot water. For me, for Jesus Enrique Rosas, it's not a small thing. I still, to this day, every time I shower and I open the hot water and I feel the hot water, it's a feeling that I cannot describe. It's a feeling of, I am living in the first world. I'm living in civilization. I'm experiencing this luxury. I feel it as a luxury. And that's why I see so many people dismissing this, taking for granted so many things that they have. And I can understand because I've been through stages of my life, and I also lived through the part of Venezuela who was really wealthy. I understand. You have to, I don't know, I don't want you to experience that. I just want you to imagine that. That's why I tell you about my experiences. I can be really crazy. I can tell you all sorts of anecdotes about back in the day, about Venezuela. And no, I don't miss any of that. I absolutely don't miss any of those experiences. But at the same time, I am grateful for having lived that, because that allows me to appreciate small things like showering with hot water. Such a small thing. It's the same. It's as simple as that. It's such a small thing that makes all the difference in the world. So that's why we need to keep on our show. That is why I said I was not going to address this infighting, this cracks, this division in the conservative movement. But when they begin to talk about my turf, well, I need to address them. And I already made my point about most of these figures, so I'm just going to address this because they are talking about Venezuela. Megyn Kelly, Trump should not have removed Nicolas Maduro from power because Americans should be afraid of what Tren de Aragua could do to retaliate. What level of cookery is this? What level of cookery is this? Let's play the video.
Did anybody anticipate that? I don't think so. Okay, Venezuela is not Libya. It's not full of a bunch of Middle Eastern potential terrorists, but it's not great. Like, they've got a bunch of gangs down there who have zero problem killing Americans. Let's check in with Tren de Aragua. Let's check in with Laken Riley's family. to find out whether they have any empathy for Americans. Doesn't seem so. And I don't know what faction of that group we're ticking off right now with our behavior.
Okay, sure. So let me get this straight. You are living in literally the most powerful country in the world. Hands down. There's no way around that. And you're afraid because taking Maduro out, you're going to be afraid of the Tren de Aragua, of retaliation. That's pathetic. That is basically, as she's talking to Tucker Carlson, of all, I'm going to mention Carlson in a minute. Just for the record, no, I'm not going to give them more exposure than necessary. I think this is pathetic. It's saying that, okay, since Tren de Aragua can have some retaliation, we should not have mess with Maduro. Okay, I already made my point about the importance of the United States making sure that the neighborhood is clean and tidy, and one of those things is, of course, cleaning up Venezuela. And I approve 100% everything that Trump has been doing. This is a bit older, by the way. This clip is a bit older, but Tucker Carlson also believes it's a distinct possibility that the U.S. capture Maduro to Czech's note, bring gay marriage to Venezuela. Again, this is a video that Nathan Livingston did recently, but I don't know if this clip from Tucker Carlson is a couple months old. But still, it's insane.
We can safely discount democracy as a reason for affecting regime change in Venezuela. We're not going to go kill Nicolas Maduro because we don't like the way he's treating his people.
Yeah, that's why he was saying kill back in the day. Of course, you could say it's for the oil, and even I would tell you, yes, it's for the oil. Trump wants to negotiate Venezuela's oil so everybody can get a healthy slice of the pie, not only Maduro and his cronies, which was what was happening up to this point, and of course selling that oil to China, which is this huge competitor of the United States in so many instances. So again, if you don't understand these dynamics, I can't do anything for you. But then you have this kind of morons like this guy. I really don't like to mention this guy. I don't know what was he doing in that meeting with the oil executives, because he was at that White House meeting with the oil executives. Zero idea what was Tucker Carlson doing in there. I don't know why they haven't dropped him, but I don't know.
It's possible we're mad that he doesn't allow gay marriage. That is a distinct possibility, but no one will say that out loud. Not defending the regime, just saying.
Not defending the regime, just saying. What does gay marriage have to do with this? This is a thing that this is purposefully misleading. And again, it's like all these people, from Candace Owens to Megyn Kelly to Tucker Carlson to Nick Fuentes to I don't know, all of them have found their audience, and they have realized, okay, my audience like this is such and such and such. They essentially have relinquished any sort of honor they could have in terms of, let me see what my audience likes to hear. Let me see what my audience likes to, make up, or what theories I could talk about that appeases my audience's thirst for new information that doesn't exist, or opinions that confirm my suspicions or my beliefs. That's what they are doing, essentially. And that's why their takes are so archetypical of something that a certain audience would like to hear. Although I don't know who still listens to Megyn Kelly, and besides just taking her for background noise, or takes her seriously the ways that what she's doing. Not that I care. Nothing. If she wants to torch her reputation, I couldn't care less. I'm just mentioning that clip because she was mentioned in Venezuela. That's the only reason. And I'm mentioning this clip from Tucker Carlson only because he was mentioned in Venezuela. I'm not gonna play the rest of the clip because I think this is asinine. I think this is stupid. I think the stupidest thing. Speaking of the stupidest things, I'm just going to continue. Say a couple of things about. This is what I tell you about the Venezuelan opposition, and that's what I tell you that it's very important to use your gray matter, use your brains, use your critical thinking, even argue with what I say. You have actual arguments, then write them. All right, write them in the comments, and we can have an argument. If sometimes you have argued with what I say, highlight your comment and I argue. If you have an ad hominem attack, you are banned. If you come in bad faith, you are banned. But if you have an actual argument against what I say, okay, we can discuss it. That's all. My channel has always been like that. Now, this is the reason why I always tell you that you need to use your brain matter for things. You know that I've always told you that Edmundo González Urrutia was the legitimate president of Venezuela because he was the one who won the elections in July of 2024. That is something that we cannot argue. Nobody can argue that Edmundo González Urrutia was the winner of those elections. So many people was upset that Trump hasn't even acknowledged him or his existence. But to be fair, Edmundo has thanked every single president that you can imagine, but Donald Trump. Yeah, this is something for real. Edmundo has spoken about the process of Venezuela, the emancipation of Venezuela, freedom coming to Venezuela, but he has not said, has he said thank you once? No, he hasn't. And then on January 9, he said that I want to inform that I had a phone conversation of 17 minutes with the president of the government of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, who is a goddamn communist. And I remind you that Edmundo González Urrutia was exiled from he got out of Venezuela on time before he was, sent to jail and whatever. He could have gone to Argentina with Milei. He could have gone to El Salvador with Bukele. No, he went to Spain, a country ruled by communists. And that's one of my most important criticisms of him. Not to mention this picture. I want to remind you that one of the reasons I criticize him. This picture was taken 10 days, from 1 week to 10 days before Biden was about to leave office. Edmundo González Urrutia back in January 2025, he visited the United States. Biden was on his way out. It was 1 week, 1 or 2 weeks from just handing over to Donald Trump. And this moron met with him instead of meeting with Donald Trump, instead of calling Donald Trump. That's what I tell you. These are socialists at heart. These are communists at heart. This is the problem. And I'm still giving Maria Corina Machado a chance. Again, I have criticized her. I have praised her on some things. I'm giving her a chance. Let's see what happens. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I can't believe that this guy had this phone conversation with Pedro Sanchez without Maria Corina Machado's knowledge. And if Maria Corina Machado knew that this was going to happen, if I was Maria Corina, I would have said, not a chance. You're never going to talk to that communist. So if you put all the variables in that equation in that order, what is the result? What is the value of X? The value of X is Maria Corina Machado knew that this phone call was going to happen. And how did she allow this to happen? I don't know, but this is not good. We are surrounded by communists. We are surrounded by libtards. This is not good. It's not good in many ways. I told you I didn't want to let's say bother you that much with Venezuela, but now Trump says that must be the reason why Trump has said that ultimately those elections from July 2024 are, we're gonna forget that they happened. Okay, we know that Maduro is not the legitimate president of Venezuela, but we're gonna forget that happened. And I think it's for the better, because after seeing this thing acting this way, I think it's better that we forget that those elections happened. Let's forget about that. Let's pretend that they didn't happen. Maduro is legitimate, but period. Okay? But let's have new elections. But when are Venezuelans going to have new elections?
This one issue, do you foresee a Venezuela that will have free and fair elections? And I would have little doubt that the opposition would probably win handily if they were free and if they were fair.
Yeah, I do see that. I think that's happening. But before we do that, it's going to take a while to do. We have to rebuild the country. They couldn't have an election. They wouldn't even know how to have an election right now. The country's become third world, and they wouldn't know how to have an election right now. We're going to rebuild the oil and the oil infrastructure. We'll be in charge of it. It's going to do great and make a lot of money. And we're going to take it from there, but we're going to rebuild the country, and ultimately you're going to have elections.
Notice that Trump never mentions that, you have to not only rebuild the country, but you have to clean up the country. And I'm not talking about rubble. I'm talking about people like Diosdado Cabello and De Rodriguez and Vladimir Padrino and all those. You have to clean up a lot. And then you can have elections, because the ones who oversee elections is the military. And we already know that the military is completely infiltrated by Cuban intelligence. Like all the guys who were protecting Maduro were Cubans. So you can even have fair elections without all that happening first. So it's going to be a process. I am not in a rush. I don't think many Venezuelans, I've seen many Venezuelans take your time, take what is needed, but do this thoroughly. The problem is that I see is, will Trump's 3 years will be enough for that? Well, I think that I can help him with the midterms. I can help him with the midterms. This was fun, but that's last part of this live stream. This was fun. Trump suddenly interrupted a meeting with the oil executives. Hold on, I need to look at my beautiful ballroom. Then got up and walked to the door. Let's watch this.
I got to look at this myself. Wow. What a view. This is the door to the ballroom. What did you... Unusual time to look, but I figure we might as well do it. If the fake news would like to go back and take a look, you can, but you'll see a very big foundation that's moving. We're ahead of schedule in the ballroom and under...
So he was essentially in that meeting. By the way, that was the moment in that meeting where Marco Rubio slipped in a note, and there was, like this secret message that he wanted, and he just read it aloud. It was very funny. But that is a pattern interruption. That's something that is an actual thing. Pattern interruption at its finest always works to hijack thought processes, expectations, and agendas. Could be as subtle as silencing your phone, interrupted to ask an unrelated question, or this, adding a physical component. And you know that Trump is extremely persuasive. He is a master persuader, and he knows that when he wants to, how to say this, dominate any moment, pattern interruptions is a way to do it. It's something that is also used in hypnosis. Yeah, Tony Robbins talks about that. Tony Robbins talks about that. Margie, you are on point. I remember I should go through my Tony Robbins book again. Trump needs to deliver a no tax for tips. You mean the no tax for tips? There's so many things that Trump has to deliver. I agree. There's so much stuff. Although Trump has been working really hard. Let me see. Let's see your super chat. Again, I'll talk about your super chat, but first let me change to my headshot and read your super chats. I'm very thankful you supported my channel. You also have, and the link in the description of this video, my merch, in case you want to go through my merch again. I should have new merch as well, and a donation link if you want to just donate so my channel keeps running, and I will be very thankful for that. Right. And in that donation, by the way, you can send me a message. You can send me a message directly with that donation. I would appreciate your messages as well. Sunday with Jesus, says Patricia Luna. Just showing appreciation. Much love and bliss. Thank you, Patricia. We are all in this together. We're trying to make sense of the world right now, and especially all the insanity and the lack of common sense of so many people. Christine Miller, great to see you again. Christine, I think I would be doing more live streams. I mean, I was on the road. It has not been easy. I think I got this figured out. I will be coming back to home soon, and we'll be live from my usual lair soon. I think we're gonna have more live streams. We'll finally arrive at that 100 episode. I've been so elusive. Peggy Cole, Patrick Bet-David was on Fox explaining the Iran situation. I love when you go live, so informative. I try to do my best. I'm pretty sure. I think that Patrick is from Iran, right? So he must know the way that I can explain to you the Venezuela situation. Maybe he can explain the Iran situation much better than I do. I'm gonna check that out. Thank you, Peggy. As JB, thank you, Jesus. Truth and facts, much appreciated. I will always looking forward to more. There's always more. Today was, I thought I was going to stream for 1 hour. You know, this rants go for longer and longer. I also try to take my time to elaborate my point about all these topics, because I think that is important. And so I wouldn't say that you can understand, because I'm not saying that through me you're understanding. I'm just trying to put the facts and the stuff out there so you can reach your own conclusions. As again, if I say something that makes no sense, or I think something that's wrong, like that picture of that that video of that Iranian lady lighting up the Ayatollah's picture. She was in Toronto, not in Iran. Then make sure to point it out, and I will be glad to point it out here as well. Sent that video to my friend, and he said, it still doesn't mean that Trump can go in and take out a country's leader. I gave up. Thank you, Cara D. Thank you for that. But yeah, sometimes even with our best intentions, they are not going to. They're not going to change their stances, and that is okay. It's not that they can send videos to us and we're going to change our stances. But one of the biggest examples in recent memory, I think that this year, that we have witnessed what Scott Adams refers to 2 movies in one screen, is what we've seen on this Minnesota tragedy of this woman being shot dead by the ICE officer. We see the wheels, we see the SUV, we see everything that is happening. We see all the. There's another video of her dancing inside her SUV for minutes before this happened. We saw the attitude of her wife or whatever, her girlfriend or whatever, and there's still people pretending that she was some kind of victim because of that. I mean, that is looking for trouble and pushing for trouble. And I don't know how to describe that. It could have been prevented, yes. That she was actively involved in her demise, also yes. So if she hadn't made all those bad decisions, maybe she would be alive right now. But sometimes tragedies happen, and we better learn from those tragedies. Again, everyone wants a safer country, not only in the United States, but also the UK and Venezuela as well. Cuba is going to collapse. I skipped that. I had that. Cuba is going to collapse. Cuba's government is going to collapse because Cuba itself has already collapsed because of communism. And it seems that Diaz-Canel, the puppet dictator of Cuba, has already said, oh, maybe communism is not working. Maybe we should change our stance. Oh, you're changing your stance right now. I wonder why. So many stuff happening. But I think that we could talk about more of this. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe the day after tomorrow. Let's see. But again, if you are watching this after this live stream ends, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Meanwhile, your comments. Let me see if I can highlight one last comment because so many of you. Okay, Cats Dolls has a very good question. Please answer my question. Do they need shipments of food, medicine, building supplies, etc.? Are there plans for immediate aid? I don't know if you're talking about, I guess you're talking about Venezuela, Cats Dolls. What we need in Venezuela right now, and we are in desperate need. I think that if you're talking about Iran, it's also what they need. It's something that so many people have, and we're still lacking, which is certainty. And sadly, we cannot buy that. It's like we need the certainty that we can find everything that we need at the nearest supermarket. We want the certainty that we don't get killed by all the reasons that Venezuelans can't get killed in Venezuela. We want certainty of having elections, real, fair elections without machines. I should do a live stream only about Smartmatic and Dominion machines. I have all the bookmarks about that. I should do my next show about that. We want certainty. We can do a lot if we had some certainty. The same way I had no certainty of having electricity or having water or having powdered milk when I needed it. Yeah, we need certainty. And yeah, thank you for offering your help. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't tell how to tell you. Okay, you can help this way. Because in Trump's first term, and when we were with this moron, with this traitor, Juan Guaido, the interim president, millions of dollars were sent to Venezuela in aid. millions of dollars. I don't know how many millions of dollars. I really don't remember. That boils my blood. And the food was destroyed by Maduro. That's one thing. Okay. But the money sent was stolen. And not precisely by the Venezuelan government. So if you told me, oh, I want to send some help to Venezuela, I would have to tell you that we will have to wait a little because, again, we don't have certainty that if you send help to Venezuela, it's actually going to reach Venezuelans, because that already happened 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago. 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And it was tragic. Venezuela was in need of food, and the Maduro regime destroyed the food that was sent as an aid. That is the kind of people that we are talking about, the kind of subhumans that we are talking about. Monsters, demons. The world, most of the world, does not understand. I can't. It's like the joke. People tell me when I have these rants about Venezuela, I have rants about libtards having an opinion about Venezuela. But Jesus, tell us how you really feel. And I tell you, if I told you how I really feel, it would be a 7-hour, 45-minute voice note. No stopping. So that's a reality. We want certainty. And yes, it's a lot of stress not having certainty. So if you can go and open the hot water in your shower, then you know that you have already won half of the day. If you wake up in the morning and open your eyes, you have already won the day. That's all I'm gonna tell you. My body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. And until we meet on another video, another live stream, remember the most important words. Much love and bliss. Take care. Be safe. I love every single one of you. Bye-bye.